Over the holiday season, I had the opportunity to meet with Rotary International President Ravi Ravindran. Ravi is from Sri Lanka. He started serving his term July 1st of this year. This is a rare opportunity because oftentimes Rotarians don't get an opportunity to see the person behind the presidency. And this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to actually meet Ravi one-on-one, talk to him, and give the audience an opportunity to see what it's like to spend time with an RI president, Rotary International President, and also what it's like to be in his shoes. So we talked about quite a few things. We aired this, actually taped it in Arcadia at a different studio, and what we will do then is show you excerpts of that via video interview. The International President of Rotary, every 3 years, believe it or not, or every 3 terms, their term is actually 1 year. Every 3 years, Rotary has a president that comes from North America. The other 2 years, that president is selected from around the world in one of the other international countries that Rotary is represented in. This year, Robbie from Sri Lanka, I had an opportunity to meet with him probably 4 or 5 years ago when he was treasurer of Rotary International. And I could see at that time he was one outstanding man. He was a man with a passion, a vision, something extraordinary, exceptional, not only among Rotarians, but among people. That was the first time that I met him, and I would say that I was very impressed with the professionalism and the vision and his ability to get things done. When you work with a president and you see what presidents are doing, what stands out in my mind, different from all the other Rotarians, is their exceptional leadership and what they do. And that leadership is based on a vision, goals that they set to try and make things better around the world. Their passion in life is to go ahead and change things, to make things better for not only Rotarians, but everybody around the world. That's what sets them apart from the average Rotarian. The average Rotarian, being people like you and me, do not always have an opportunity to meet with the president themselves, see them personally, and that is what this show is going to be based on. I brought with me some pictures, some photos showing how we met. One of the opportunities that I have working with the Rotary Rose Parade Float Committee is that I spend time and actually serve as the aide to the president each year for about a week's time. The first picture shows Ravi and his wife, Vanity. They came in from Sri Lanka. I picked them up at the airport. Literally, they were 4 days in Sri Lanka, their home, and that was about it. That's the only time, by the way, that Ravi has been home this whole year, since July 1st. And he told me quite literally, he says, well, it's freezing here in California. I can't believe it. I came from 80 degrees every day, high humidity in Sri Lanka. Now you're expecting me to handle this 30 and 40 degree weather. So that was one of the hardships. He did not talk about the jet lag. He talked more about the temperature changes. The next picture that we have shows what we call the the International President's Summit. And that International President's Summit is when we, as the Rotary Rose Parade Float Committee, get together and we bring the president of Optimus, the president of Lions, the president of Kiwanis, all together for a brunch. This brunch is a summit that we sponsor, we host. It is the only time ever in the year that these 4 great leaders, world leaders, will get together. So that is one of the opportunities that we have in meeting with and giving them the chance to talk to the broad picture. Now imagine this, you have probably close to 4 million people that are working for humanity, and they are all meet together with the leadership at this one time. We also host a dinner for him. The picture here shows Ravi. He's the keynote speaker of a dinner that we hold in his honor. Well, now that I think about it, I don't know what a great honor is when he has to do the work to earn his dinner, but that's part of what we do. Pictures coming up show the picture of him on the float, the Rotary Rose Parade float during the Tournament of Rose Parade. This is a picture of him coming down Colorado Boulevard with the entry that we do as Rotarians. The picture shows him in the front, and you can see there's a large smile on his face. He was very happy and anxious to be part of that float, and we appreciated very much him being there. He said it was one of those opportunities of a lifetime. He really enjoyed it, and one thing that makes it exceptional in his leadership is the fact that he enjoyed it. A lot of times, some Rotarian presidents have considered it being a little bit more work than not, but he thoroughly enjoyed himself, and that reflected on him representing Rotary International on this float. We also have a picture of him in Brazil with the Brazilian contingent. last year during the Rotary International Convention held in Brazil. Another picture shows him with German Rotarians at a teaching hospital in Sri Lanka. Part of the work that he does is traveling around the world, and the reason that he's never home is because he goes and endorses and brings and motivates those people in all the great projects that Rotary does worldwide. Next picture is of an incubator, another one of the projects that we have. And the picture following that is a picture of one of the patients, the success stories of the incubator. This incubator project, by the way, was funded by the Rotary Foundation, initiated by Rotarians and a Rotary Club. The last picture that I have here shows a picture of him in his professional life. Ravi is a very successful businessman. His job is as a printer, and he prints products for the world, around the world. This picture shows him and his son, Krishna, and part of the work that they do. Now, Ravi's going to be gone probably 2 or 3 years, and so he left the business in the hands of his son. That is one of the opportunities that a president would have, is that they have to leave their business. The opportunity is that they serve humanity for at least 3 or 4 years consistently, and very, very strenuous, I would say. I would like to thank Ron Wilson for allowing us to use his studio to videotape this interview. Robbie could not make it up to our studios itself, but he was gracious enough to offer this time for him. The interview, by the way, that you're going to see occurred at this Arcadia studio, and I would say, unlike ours, it wasn't heated. And you will see Ravi, he had a cold, by the way, and so it's going to be a little bit hoarse, and I had a hard time talking. And he also said that coming from 60 degrees, jumping into, 80 degrees, jumping into a studio that was 60 degrees, he had a hard time keeping, not chattering during the interview. So with that, we hope that you'll enjoy the show that I posted for you. We talked about Ravi. I want you to focus on the man behind Rotary International President. This is a man right now that is tasked with leading 1.2 million Rotarians around the world in humanitarian efforts that we will all benefit from. So with that, enjoy the video. Thank you. Welcome to Rotary and Serving Our Community. With us today, we are very privileged to have with us the International Rotary President, Ravi Ravindran. Ravi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Nice being here in sunny California, I thought. That's what you told me anyway.
Yes.
And I'm here for this Rose Parade. It's a first-time experience for me, and I'm looking forward to it.
What do you think about the weather? We see the sun's out, but it's not exactly warm in here.
I know, that's what I said. You promised sunny California. It's more like, winter California.
Well, we have the sun. We promised that. We didn't promise the heat. So thank you very much. How did you get involved with Rotary? What drove you to it?
I was after university. I was 21 years old, and I was working my family tea plantations. It was a very lonely life, and my father, grandfather were already in Rotary. That's my idea. So when I heard they were starting a Rotary Club, they actually came in search of me and said, "Why don't you join? We hear that you come from a Rotary family." And since I was lonely, since I was looking for family, since I was looking more for networking and friends, I thought it was a great idea to join Rotary. Service was the furthest from my mind at that point. The service starts growing on you. It's not one day you wake up and say, "Wow, I've got to do this service." It just grows on you because you move with people who are inclined that way. That's what connects you and keeps you together within the club.
True, very true. Now, we've talked about a Rotary moment. Is there one that stands out in your time, in your history in Rotary?
Oh, I can tell you many, many things that stand out, but like I said, Wade, it's no single moment which really sucks you into Rotary. It's a culmination of a series of events, and one day you find that you're completely involved. It didn't happen overnight. Mm-hmm. So I can give you several incidents, but it was not those incidents which dragged me in. I got dragged in, and those incidents happened because I got dragged in and because I was part of Rotary.
Understand.
So I really wouldn't pinpoint one single event and call it a Rotary moment for me.
Okay.
Some of the best moments for me, in fact, is not so much some of the most fantastic projects I've done, and I've been involved in some truly large-scale community service projects. But for me, some of the most nicest moments in Rotary is when I'm traveling and I meet up with someone like you, and you invite me over to your home and we sit and have dinner together. We sit in the carpet and we have a drink together and spend 2 hours talking.
That's very true. I've seen that, and it's the camaraderie that brings us all together. That's a large part of it, along with the service. Now, what motivated you to become a president?
I would say it's a natural process of organic growth in Rotary. You are a governor, you become director, then you begin to see a larger picture of Rotary, and then you think, well, maybe we did this, things would be better. I mean, one of the things I wanted to do was find ways of adding value to Rotarians. And if I became president, I knew I could influence the board and point them in that direction. And I must confess, when I put my name in for president, I didn't think I was going to get it. And when I got it, I was a little surprised. But now, having got into the job, I want to make sure that I try and deliver what I conceptualized and what I promised them.
Now, in your Rotary history, you start as a member, then you become a club president, go on to become a governor, then a director. Tell us about that part of the process. As you joined Rotary, did you expect to become a club president?
When I joined Rotary, I was barely lucky I didn't get sacked. I wasn't a very good Rotarian. I wasn't keeping my attendance. But eventually all that fell into place. I was very fortunate because at every stage when I held an office, the club was able to make a substantial contribution. I mean, when I was a president, we started, my club started Anti-Narcotics Association, which today is, of course, many decades later, is the foremost anti-narcotic association in the country with over 30,000 members. They're not Rotarians. We are reaching to schools, we are reaching to workplaces. We are the #1 anti-narcotics agency in the country. Wow. When I was governor, I was part of a big project the district was involved in. I was able to bring into the country people like Carlos Canseco, who was the father of Polio Plus, Professor Christian Barnard, the great heart surgeon, and I was able to showcase Rotary like it had never been done before. Got the government involved, and then of course we got on to polio. That was the time I was governor. I became the chair of the polio committee, and we achieved a lot of big things. I mean, Sri Lanka became the first country in South Asia to become polio free, and I would say 90% of the credit went to the Rotarians. Wow. I mean, we even stopped a war. So then you became a trustee. I was very involved. I was chairman of the stewardship committee, and then as director, I found that at every office I was able to play a significant role as treasurer of the organization. And that has really enhanced your own personal life. It has made you a better human being. It's allowed you to understand how the rest of the world works. And you bring a lot of these skills into your business. And you see, the good thing about Rotary is you bring your Rotary skills into business, your Rotary philosophy, I would say, into business, and you take your business skills into Rotary. So to me, it's a perfect match. Many things I do in the company I've learned from Rotary, like matching grants, like scholarships. We would do community service projects in the community around us. We tell the workers, okay, you raise the money, the company will match what you have raised. All that from Rotary. We run scholarship schemes in our company for workers' children, exactly like what Rotary does. And then I take my business skills into Rotary, like running a big $12 million schools project. Accountability, responsibility, productivity is all skills you learn in business. So I really find it's a perfect match, Rotary and business, Rotary and professions.
Tell us about this year's theme. Each year the International President gets to pick a theme. Yours is Be a Gift to the World.
I think Be a Gift to the World fits in with my philosophy, with my religion, with my culture. We are all we have a temporary ride through earth. The day we are born, there's a day already marked when we have to depart. And in order to make to where we are, what we are, it is possible only because of the many, many gifts that people around us give us. Not only people, the environment, the ambience, the community, so many people contribute in order to make a success of you. And there is a time when you have to repay those gifts. From the time you are born, the world itself, life itself is a gift to begin with. Your parents educating you is a gift. The many good things that come your way is a gift. So there is a time now to pay back. So you can look at life as a balance sheet. You can either have an asset side or an excess of liabilities over assets. And it's a good thing to increase your asset side.
Very good. One other part of the being the president, you actually get to select a tie theme, a tie design. Could you tell us a little bit about how this design came about? It's a very unique, fascinating tie.
I've got to give credit to my wife for that. I like paisleys, and together we sat and worked on it. And we saw lots of designs and samples that were given, and then we picked this. We did not want to put too loud a Rotary logo into it because I wanted the people to wear it when they go to the bank, when they go for a cocktail party, when they go anywhere. And I was looking for a very contemporary tie, a tie which stands out well and looks modern enough without being too glaring. Right. I thought it fit the bill. And I mean, the first 2-3 days, our sales of these ties were over $1 million.
Is that right? Outstanding. Most Rotarians actually don't even know that the tie is out there available to them. So you sold a lot of ties. Good for you. Thank you. The theme logo that you have, Be a Gift to the World, could you tell us a little bit about that?
It depicts, you'll see there's a world behind, and the rainbow type effect in front is really the gift packaging. So you have a box, and the gift is opening up, the wrappers are opening up, and it's a presentation to the world. The world is not coming from inside the box. The box is a gift to the world. So you see the world behind, you see this gift wrap box opening up, and it's a presentation to the world.
I got it. I see that. So it's part of the graphics is hard to depict that, whether it's actually coming out of the box or behind the box. So
yeah, but if you see the shaded effect, you know the world is behind, the shadow effect.
Ah, okay.
And that was created in order to make sure that people don't think that the world is coming out of the box.
Okay.
The box is a presentation to the world.
Very good. I don't think there's very many people actually see that shadow part of it. We just thought that was a graphic line, but thank you. Thank you for bringing that forward. As president, we know it's a very grueling schedule. You have a lot of time commitments, a lot of appointments, and by the way, we appreciate your time for this also. You told me this week that you had only been home 4 days all year since you've taken office.
Well, we left in July. We went back on the 23rd, or 2 days prior to that we went for an event, got out again. And then we flew back on the 23rd night and got out on the 28th. So we had 4 to 5 days off after nearly 5 months.
And that was it for the whole year so far?
That's it for the whole year.
Oh my goodness. So tell us a little bit about the schedule, because most people have no idea how much time.
I must tell you that I probably work harder at this job than I've ever done in my business. It's, first of all, a lot of it is not in your control. Today you have been very reasonable in setting up this interview at 9:30 in the morning. There are times, I know in Honolulu, when they said, would you do a TV show, a breakfast show? I said, yes. And what time is it? And they said, 6:30. I said, you mean you'll pick me up at 6:30? And they said, no, it's you've got to be in the studio at 6:30. And that's not very funny when you just flown in thousands of miles the previous day. So each day is a minute-to-minute schedule, and sometimes I know my office has to fight hard with our hosts, saying, look, give this guy a break. He needs some time to rest. But truly we enjoy it. Once we get down, get our feet on the ground, meeting Rotarians, the adrenaline just gets to you. You love it. Meeting people, talking to them, seeing their projects, addressing their meetings. What is sometimes tiresome is the airports, the security, missed connections, sleeping in some bench in the night, waiting in the air for 14, 15 hours, long distance flights. because very often it's not possible to orchestrate your whole tour. You have an appointment here, you have an appointment there, and you got to make it. You can't change things to suit you. So the cross-continental travel can get very tiring. We are, I would say, sometimes in a permanent state of jet lag. It's part of life now. And there's no question you take a beating as a result. But I just tell myself that, well, after June I have time to recover. Now you give it all you've got to Rotarians. They have faith in you, they have trust in you, and your job is to deliver.
As far as meeting clubs, I know you've been to, what, 20, 30 countries so far this year?
Well, not this year. I would say from the time I took over as President-elect, I've been to 26 countries.
26 countries.
Some of them several times. They're big countries, so you go to different regions.
And as far as working with clubs, did you keep any count of that on how often you meet with an actual club versus a district or
No,
a zone?
actually I meet very few clubs.
Okay.
In fact, as a rule, we said we won't go to clubs, we won't go to conferences. We do go to club events provided it is a centennial. That's how it's been up to now. But first priority always is zonal events, district events, then club centennials.
Now, so far in the last 6 months, tell us some of the highlights, some things that have occurred to you in Rotary in your trip.
Highlights always is, of course, meeting Rotarians. That's number one. And when I go, I try and meet as many people as possible. I go around the room, I'll shake hands, I pose for pictures. So that's one part of it. But some of the other things, part of my job is to raise money for our polio program, is to connect with heads of states, is to basically present Rotary as a substantial service organization with very influential members, and try and market Rotary as a place that governments a good partner governments should have to work with them to deal with community problems. I tell communities, if you ask me what is the message I have for my viewers who are not Rotarians, I would tell them join Rotary, because by joining Rotary, you are in fact helping your own community. And if you are not going to help the community, your own community, who else will? We can't expect someone from next door to come and do that. You got to do it. So my routine has been targeting, like I said, heads of states, other important people. I had a meeting with the Pope. Unfortunately, before the meeting took place, it got changed, and I actually did not end up seeing him. But because the time he gave, we were flying off to Korea or something, and we couldn't make that. We were shown around the Vatican. We had a good time, but we came off actually with a better deal. On April 30th, 2016, the Pope Francis, will exclusively say Mass to Rotarians. And we've guaranteed to them that we will have 8,000 guests, and St. Peter's Square will be closed down to Rotarians. And that's something quite unique. We were very blessed, and I think it would be a great highlight of this year to have Pope Francis doing Mass with us. I was there at CHOGM. CHOGM is a conference. CHOGM is the abbreviation for Commonwealth Heads of Governments Meeting, where I had a chance to meet with the Secretary General of the UN, to meet with the Prime Minister of Australia, Malta, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, the foreign ministers of Britain, Canada, Nigeria, and exchange views on polio, the money that is needed to finish the job. And they were very supportive. We spoke to the press. All 5, 6 of us addressed the press. And it was interesting that when Secretary General Ban Ki-moon spoke, he spoke first really. He said there are 3 reasons why the incidence of polio has been brought down to a trickle now. Reason number 1 is because of Rotary International and the work that they've done. I was quite elated when he said that. So those, I would say, are some of the highlights of the year so far.
Very good. I know you've been very involved with the polio efforts that we've done as Rotarians. Could you tell us a little bit about that, how you were involved, how you've been involved?
Well, Sri Lanka had everything going to become polio free. And when I was governor, we realized that if we played our cards right, we could in fact be the first country to become polio free. And that's what we did. So I've been pretty involved with polio from the days we raised money in 1987. And right now, that's my fundamental focus. That's the Rotary's only corporate project. We have to eliminate this dreaded virus in the next 2 years. We are very, very close, but the job still needs to be done. And I don't want to take my eye off that ball. We have to keep focused. We have to raise the money. We still need $1.5 billion. Must find the money, and we must persuade governments not to slacken their pace of surveillance, pace of their own funding into polio eradication, so that we can truly finish this job. Because if we don't, this whole thing can be a bad dream and just come back. And that means all the work that we've done is just gone.
Very true.
True.
Yeah. Last question I have. You're here for the Rose Parade.
Yes.
And we have the float going down. Tell us a little bit about your experience there and what you've seen or enjoyed about the float project.
You know, I've heard about this Rose Parade. I mean, the whole world talks about it. And I think Rotarians doing this is, on the one hand, great fun. It's great adventure. On the other hand, it's a prestigious moment for Rotary to be part of this float. And this whole parade itself, we're talking about 18 million flowers last year, 5,000 gallons of glue. I mean, just the logistics of this is, you know, it's unimaginable. And these Rotarians working day and night to put together this float. When I saw it, it was at a very skeleton stage. The final end product is so totally transformed. It's like a Cinderella story. You know, so I'm looking forward to that. And I think this is one of the great moments in Rotary, this being participating in the parade. And it's a great tribute to the Rotarians who work there, who present this. And all the work they do, really, the credit goes to them, of course. But the pride goes to the whole world of Rotary, the work that they're doing.
Great.
And everyone who views this and says, wow, that's us over there.
That is very good. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the parade. I know it's going to be cold, but we guaranteed you only the sun, so you'll have a sunny day.
Thank you. Thank you, Wade.
Thank you very much
Good.
for joining us. We sure appreciate it, your time. I know it's been a grueling year so far, but you've done an outstanding job, and we as Rotarians sure appreciate all
your
the hard
help
work
and
you've
appreciate
done.
what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that video interview with Ravi. He's one outstanding man. I did have the opportunity to meet and talk with him for about 4 or 5 days there, and I can tell you this man is definitely genuine. As Rotarians, we should be proud of the leadership that we've put in place. Ravi is going to be one of those people that is going to change Rotary, make a difference in what we do, how we do it, and he brings with him the business sense, the efficiency that we will have as Rotarians to do better with what we are doing right now. He's focused a lot on changes, and those changes, I believe, will be of benefit to not only Rotary, but to the world alike. With that, I would like to thank the Arcadia Studios and Ron Wilson for allowing us to tape at his studio itself. And next time, Ron, by the way, bump the heat up a little bit so we don't chatter in that during that interview. We also had with us at that time Frank Griffith, who's a member of our Rotary Float Committee team. I would like to thank Frank for helping out also. He was our timekeeper and also the on-site director. And Vanity, I did not get to mention you, but thank you also. Vanity was in the audience watching the taping of that, and she was there as a motivator for us and bringing us along, making sure that we kept on time. I would also like to thank Ravi, our president. Ravi Ravindran, thank you very much for your time. I realize your schedule is unbelievable, and for you to take the time to meet with us, do this taped interview, and share with us your vision, your dream of Rotary is one thing that we and the audience, I'm sure, will appreciate. Very seldom do we have a chance to meet with the Rotary International President one-on-one. And again, I realize it was a hardship. I hope you're feeling better. I'll see you in a few days, but take it easy. And again, thank you very much for all you do, all you're doing, in changing the world. With that, we'll see you at the next one. Thank you.